Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for an EdTechTeam Online sneak preview. We're really excited about our sneak preview tonight on The Space, the online course that will accompany the book, The Space. As you're joining us, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat on YouTube or ask any questions using the EdTechTeam Online hashtag. I'm Tracy Purdy. I'm the director of EdTechTeam Online, and I will be facilitating our conversation tonight. We also have Dominique Dines in the back channel. She'll be answering any of your guys' questions that you post in either YouTube or on the EdTechTeam Online hashtag on Twitter. So let's go ahead and get started and introduce. So we've got our sneak preview tonight on The Space, the book. And as we're logging in and as you guys are getting connected, you can actually earn a free online course, or win, I guess I should say, a free online course. And you can win the free online course by filling out this form, edtech.team/course for free. So take a minute, we'll put that up again at the end as well. But edtech.team/course for free. So come back to that at some point. But now I would love to introduce to you guys the authors of the book, The Space. We have Robert Dillon and Rebecca Hare with us, and they are the two co-authors of the book, The Space. And I'm gonna let each of them just do a quick introduction of themselves. So Rebecca, do you wanna start?
Sure. My name is Rebecca Hare. I am a teacher and in spaces and get to work with people all over the country, helping them figure out how to design their spaces with their students. So I got to work with Bob in St. Louis, and we designed a bunch of spaces together with students and teachers in Afton School District. And that's how we wrote the book.
Awesome.
And I'm Dr. Robert Dillon. I currently serve as the Director of Innovative Learning for the University City School District in St. Louis. And like Rebecca, have been on this 2-year journey of helping schools and teachers and districts all around the country try to figure out how to optimize learning spaces.
That's fantastic. We all know that it's a very important thing to make sure that we have spaces for our students that are conducive to learning. So let's go ahead and start with some of the questions that we want to ask you guys about this online course. The first question is, what is the main focus of your book and also the online course?
Yeah, I think the biggest thrust for Rebecca and I was to make sure that there was a conversation starting around the country about the importance of learning space design. I think we were seeing a lot of classroom decorations happening, but not a lot of intentionality around design. And I think it was really important to us to make sure that there was this larger conversation. And so the book came from that. And I think we're hoping that the course will do the same thing.
Great. Rebecca, anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's what Bob said. I think that everyone was really kind of obsessed with Pinterest and making cute bulletin boards, and not so much in empowering learners and creating spaces that are going to support the emotional and social emotional development of kids, and how that connects really to what they're learning and their cognitive development. I think when you look at learning spaces and really understand how that's going to be a tool for teachers and how they're going to facilitate learning, and how it's going to be a vital part of a student's success and feeling empowered as a learner. When you can come at it that way and it's not about making something pretty, then it can really change kids' lives and their ability to learn. And it can empower teachers in a way that nothing else can. So we were excited to see what had happened in a very short amount of time and what's happened since then. So it's really about spreading this and getting other people excited and continuing to learn about it.
Yeah, and I should also add, there's a big piece of equity about this too. I think Rebecca and I were already seeing that, the schools that had a lot of means were able to work with architects and work with contractors and work with designers. We wanted to make sure that this wasn't another gap that was happening in schools, and we wanted to make sure that every classroom teacher had the same tips and tools and tricks about learning space design and the same mindset as some of the folks that were paying really premium dollars to do the same thing around the country. And so we're excited. We get notes from places in rural Arkansas, in the Mississippi Delta, in places all over in Appalachia, where people are saying that this has really changed the way that they're doing their work. And I think that's really important to me, to see that type of impact, especially in school districts that are both small and those without means. And so that's been a great part of it as well.
I love that. I love that it makes it so that it is something approachable for every single teacher, no matter what, that they can all make a difference in their learning space. And there are so many tips in the book that you guys share about the small things that you can do that can make such a great impact for all the learners in the classroom. And that's so, so important. So I think you guys kind of already shared about what prompted you guys to write this book, just, to make sure that everybody could make those changes in their classroom. Do you have anything to share about that, or should we move on to?
Oh, I think, well, so it was funny because after we did the work together in Afton, it was something like, okay, I think we should do something else. And we were like, well, maybe there should be a blog post. And so we started saying, what is everything that we want to share? How do we want this work to continue? And then we started making this list, and at the end of like an hour long, like, I don't know, it was a Google Hangout or it was a phone call, we're like, I think we kind of have a book. And so it was really, like, for me, it was very daunting. And we were like, okay, well, let's just start chipping away at this. And what is the thing that we really want to give people? And was it going to be something online? Was it going to be pieces? And it was that teachers could see themselves as designers of their spaces, and students could see themselves as designers of their spaces. And they could understand and look at the elements very effectively and say, okay, this isn't supporting what we're trying to do right now. And go about it from here. And I love what Bob just said. It's true that the equity piece is huge for us, because most of the stuff we do is really inexpensive, and ways in which teachers can hack it from being creative and really thinking about what affects learning. And when they can understand how the space can affect learning, then they can do that for very little money. And so that was really kind of what brought us to this, is that you can go to, there's great resources and incredible architecture firms that, charge a premium. And we really wanted to help the teacher who's like, I don't have that, but I still care about this issue.
And your book definitely does that. It lays everything out so nicely, so beautifully. Can you guys share one of your tips from your book, or one thing from your experience, one of those small, easy things that people can do to start changing their learning space?
Yeah, the easy one that's, ripe for picking is that, most teachers in America could take at least a trunk load of things out of their room, and that would support learning. And even to practice, to say, what happens if I took this stuff out of my room for 2 weeks and put it in my car trunk? And if I don't need it, then I don't put it back. If I need it, I can go get it. But there's so much clutter and so many things that become invisible to kids that they do nothing to promote learning, and they probably distract from the learning that's happening. And so, for free, you can take stuff out of your classroom. And we're really promoting folks trying to make sure that every piece of what happens is not from inertia, momentum, or tradition. It truly is by design.
Yeah, for me, it's I completely agree with that. And then adding on to looking about how you can use your space to really support collaboration and support different kinds of learning. So just something simple as the surfaces that you use in your room, and not thinking about, like, I have tables, I have walls, but thinking they're all just surfaces. Some of them support building, some of them support collaboration. If we're all around a round table, then you can't see what I've written, you can't see what I've done. If we can all share a surface on a wall, this is why whiteboards are valuable, and sticky notes, when we're all looking at the same thing, that we change the hierarchy within a group, and everyone has the ability to give input, and their voice is heard. So looking at it from that kind of perspective, just the other day I was working with teachers at my school, which, if it's daunting to travel around and work with other teachers, it's even more daunting to work with your colleagues and within your school. I think I've never been so nervous as presenting. And one of my little hacks is that you know, if you give, you can even get a big piece of butcher paper, give kids different colored markers, and as they're brainstorming out their project, you know who's contributing and how, and it's not, oh, Jimmy, you didn't contribute. It's like, are we supporting Jimmy to give us his ideas? Are we supporting Eddie? You know, is Annalise supported? And really changing the social emotional structure of your classroom as well, and making sure that kids feel like they can share. So it's another indicator for you, if that person's the purple pin, then you know how comfortable they are within the group. So there's a lot of these things that seem not important, but if you can look at them with new eyes, they can really change the structure and the collaboration in your classroom.
I love that point of view too, of the fact that saying so-and-so is not contributing, but saying how can I support them to be able to contribute a little bit more, just looking at it in a totally different way. And that clutter piece too is something definitely, I know in my classroom, I hung a ton of posters on the wall hoping that the kids would maybe absorb it, but I know that that was probably more of a distraction to them from what they were really learning. So some really great tips that people can start doing right now. Tomorrow they could walk in and start doing that. So that's great. Can you guys share a little bit about the format of your online course that you guys have created?
Yeah, Rebecca, why don't you lead off on that one?
So I have, we started off making this online, but something happens to me that I'm always wanting people to write and kind of interact with something that's physical. So a lot of times what kind of manifested out of our work for the course is what we think is going to be valuable for somebody. And we created, so there's online component, which you have videos and you have prompts and you have ways in which you're sharing your learning. But we also have like a workbook that you can print out and write on and add Post-it notes on. And so you're really getting like the analog and the digital together. And it's not just like a click, you know, clicking through a course. It's really bringing in your creativity as well. And so it's very graphic. It's a lot like the book. We use the same kinds of formats. It's just specifically for this course, and really gave it as kind of an extension to teachers to write in, to really look beyond just the walls of their classroom and to look out into the world and be really inspired. And the entire purpose of the design of the course is to start to train that designer within a teacher and for them to start to really look with new eyes at their space.
Yeah, and we were really intentional about how we designed so that one teacher could take this course, a team of third grade teachers could take this course, a math department could take this course, a principal could say, hey, I want all of the teachers in my school to do this. And so I think we're really intentional to make sure that we were able to kind of be as small and very personal, but also to grow it and be able to scale to whatever size group in a school or a district that wanted to do so. And so I think we were really, really thoughtful about each day. And I love that you can get so much information in just a 2-week window.
Yep, that's great. I was going to add that in there, that it is over 2 weeks. The first one is starting April 17th, running through May 1st. And then there's another one that's in June 12th through the 26th. And 15 hours of work over the 2 weeks. An optional graduate credit, if you would like one graduate credit from Adams State University, is available. And it is such a beautiful course, so well laid out. And I love that, Rebecca, that you were talking about the printout book that you guys created for each of the different lessons. So many different components, watching a video, interacting, reflecting. So I was really, really impressed with your guys' course that you guys wrote. So it'll be really fun, and we hope that we have a great group of people joining us both in April and then again in June as well. Or if your team of teachers would like to take it separately, we can definitely do that as well. So thank you guys so much for sharing. Is there anything else that you guys want to share about your course before we ask for some questions?
No, just I'm super excited to interact with more people. I think Rebecca and I have just had the best time and the best journey over the last 2 years, working with people that we never would have expected to be working with all around the country. And this is just a new avenue for us. And so I'm really excited. I'm sure Rebecca echoes that sentiment.
When we were creating it, at every turn, like, what is the most important information? What will be the most evocative and kind of mindset changing thing that we could do? And so we poured over a lot of different materials, things we created, things that we found. And there were a lot of, debates on this is the most important versus this, and like, you know, we like really scaled it down from, you know, hundreds of articles to just the ones we thought that we could distill to really change someone's mindset. And there's, you know, then there's connections to like, okay, if you want more, here's a few more articles. But really, after our journey, like if we think we could bring somebody into this to open up eyes and see spaces differently in 2 weeks' time, I think that this should be a great boot camp for that, and a joyous and kind of fun experience as well.
Awesome. I can't wait to see the kind of spaces that are transformed because of your book and also this online course. So Dominique, have we had any questions come in that we want to have them answer live right now, or we can get back to people as well? You can continue to add them to the YouTube chat, and then you can also tweet them out using the EdTechTeam Online hashtag, and we'll answer them at any time.
We haven't had any questions. We have a lot of global fans watching today. We have people from Singapore, Ohio, Colorado. We've had a couple people bring up the point that they really like involving the students in the decisions of what happens in a classroom. And so Leah Burke had a great idea of putting everything in the center of the room at the beginning of the year and then having the students be involved in putting things up. And then we had another fan, Christy, who said her principal bought all of the teachers at their school your book. So they've all been reading it and they'd love to get some sort of course started. But we haven't had any questions yet. So if anyone has any, please ask.
Well, perfect. And remember, we can always tweet them out. You can tweet them out at any time and we'll get back to you with all of the answers. So we have, if you would like to join the course, you can go to edtechteam.com/online. We also have edtech.team/the space online. And you can get 10% off for the next, oops, sorry, we made a little mistake on our slide there. We forgot to change that. But you can, if you do use the promo code Sneak Preview, for the next week, you can get 10% off of the course. So make sure that you do that and join us soon. Keep tweeting out any of your questions. Also, make sure you enter to win that free course at edtechteam/course for free. And we will send out the winner tomorrow in a follow-up email. Rebecca and Bob, we're so thankful that you could join us to share a little bit more about your course tonight. And we're also just so thankful that you wrote this course, because I think that it's going to be a really, really important course for a lot of teachers. That's going to be something within 2 weeks of time they can make a huge impact on their students' learning and their classroom. So anything last thoughts from you guys before we close?
No, we're always sharing at hashtag learning spaces. And so that's kind of an ongoing dialogue. Certainly other folks are there too, but a lot of what we're sharing out is at that hashtag. And we're at Space the Book on Twitter, so you can find us there as well.
Yeah, I would share that even if nobody in your district or building has put aside funds for you to get to change your learning spaces, that doesn't mean that looking into this and thinking about how you can reinvigorate your learning spaces with zero budget is still worth it. Because a lot of things you can do don't require changing furniture. They just really require kind of changing mindsets. And a lot of things can be really no budget, low budget. And going through this journey with the course can, even if you don't get to change anything, even the paint color or pull anything down off your walls, it can really give you a new insight into your students and to really make things more truly student-centered and empower them. So I would definitely not inhibit yourself because you don't have a budget or have a principal maybe who's going to support you through this. I still think it's worth it.
That is great advice.
Tracy,
Definitely. Yeah.
we did have one question come in.
Okay.
Leah is doing a PBL project with her 4th grade students on designing learning spaces, and she's wondering if the two of you have any advice to give them.
Oh, I love that idea, first and foremost. And, you know, I always think about PBL and think about how can that be relevant and community-based. And so if there's any way that you can extend your learning space beyond the walls of your school and think about community parks or other places in the community, how can you make that as relevant and community-based as possible as you're thinking about that PBL unit?
Awesome.
Great.
Leah and her group of learners to really think about the process of learning and which ways they learn best, and kind of maybe take a log or document that if they, when they're receiving information, when they're sharing information, and be really aware at times of, oh, this is going really well. Okay, what's surrounding us and what's surrounding me? Because I don't think that we don't do that enough with kids. We don't support ourselves as adults enough with that. Even just recently, my son's a kindergartner. We were reading, and he said, "Just a second." He's reading to me. He got up, he jumped up and down a bunch of times, and he came and sat down again. He was like, "I just needed to get some energy out to get through this." And I was so proud, because like, oh, at 6, if he gets this, we're in a good way. And we don't support that enough with our kids. What, like, is this working for you right now? Do you need to move? Do you need to change? And that's why I really think that metacognitive process of saying, oh, this is not working for me, and giving the kids that space, that if they just start going, oh, we don't collaborate well like this, and let's go on the floor, and that they spend some weeks doing that and going, okay, where does this kind of learning work best? They, all of a sudden, they're going to start gravitating toward the stuff that works best for their learning.
And what great lifelong skills for them to be able to advocate for themselves and how they learn.
Robert, just to check, was the hashtag you shared learning space or learning spaces?
With an S on the end, so learning spaces.
Perfect.
And there's a great consortium out of Australia that's doing a bunch of great work as well, and they're on that hashtag as well. So you get a double if you go there.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I feel like I have a lot to take back just from this call tonight, and I can't imagine how much more I would get out of the course. So thank you so much. Reminder, everybody use that sneak preview code to get 10% off, and then join us. We have 3 more sneak previews coming up this month: Advanced Spreadsheets, the 4 Cs, and Paperless Classroom. So again, Rebecca and Bob, thank you so much for joining us, and we can't wait to join you in the course.
Awesome. Thank you,
Bye,
Tracy.
everyone. Yep.